Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru 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 Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadi Bhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namah Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudhanivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanam Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhakti Namro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Ramlal Educational Institute of No. 12 Exchange Lots Couver, Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Southern Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, and Kokay Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando.
Today on Datta Arpanam, as the study of the Dasha Avatara of Lord Vishnu continues, inspired by the story of Kurma Avatara, we will return to the story of the churning of the ocean. Previously, you heard that as Kurma Avatara supported the churning rod Mount Mandara, and as Vasuki was being used as the churning rope by the Devatas and demons, different items and beings started emerging from the milk ocean which was being churned.
So far, you heard that the wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadhenu, emerged. Then came the great horse, Uchchaishrava, followed by the elephant, Airavata.
As the vigorous churning continued, next emerged the wish-fulfilling tree, Kalpavriksha. Celestial damsels known as Apsarasas were then seen emerging from the ocean, and then the divine, radiant goddess Lakshmi emerged.
Goddess Lakshmi, as you heard last week, was filled with love for Sri Hari. She realized that only he possessed all the qualities which she sought in a husband, but she thought, he does not desire me.
Today we will hear what happened next. First though, please join Pujya Appaji in Nama Sankirtanam. You are invited to open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 61 and join in worshipping the remover of obstacles, the one who bestows comfort, the basis for the existence of the universe, Lord Vinayaka.
Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vighna Vinashaka, Saukya Vidhayaka, Vishwa Vibhavaka, Vinayaka. Vighna Vinashaka, Saukya Vidhayaka, Vishwa Vibhavaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Gauri Tanaya Vinayaka, Shankara Palita Vinayaka. Gauri Tanaya Vinayaka, Shankara Palita Vinayaka. Gajavadana Ke Vinayaka, Mushika Vagana Vinayaka. Gajavadana Ke Vinayaka, Mushika Vagana Vinayaka. Vinayaka, 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 Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vitrata Bhakta Vinayaka, Sukshma Subuddhi Vinayaka. Vitrata Bhakta Vinayaka, Sukshma Subuddhi Vinayaka. Vignadishwara Vinayaka, Vishwaradhya Vinayaka. Vishwara Vinayaka, Vishwaradhya Vinayaka. Vinayaka, 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 Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Modaka Hasta Vinayaka, Moda Vidaya Vinayaka. Modaka Hasta Vinayaka, Moda Vidaya Vinayaka. Chandrolasaka Vinayaka, Shapita Chandra Vinayaka. Chandrolasaka Vinayaka, Shapita Chandra Vinayaka. Vinayaka, 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 Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Vinayaka, Vighna Vinashaka, Vinayaka. Punarujjivita Vinayaka, Purna Kripalaya Vinayaka. Punarujjivita Vinayaka, Purna Kripalaya Vinayaka. दानव संहार विनायक दैवत रक्षक विनायक
दानव संहार विनायक दैवत रक्षक विनायक
विनायक विनायक विनायक विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक विनायक विनायक
विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
बाहुच दुष्ट विनायक भावमनोज्ञ विनायक बाहुच दुष्ट
विनायक भावमनोज्ञ विनायक
पाशांकुशधर विनायक रथवरदाढ्य विनायक
पाशांकुशधर विनायक रथवरदाढ्य विनायक
विनायक विनायक
विनायक विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
चंदन रंजित विनायक चंदन रंजित विनायक रक्तांबरधर विनायक
चंदन रंजित विनायक रक्तांबरधर विनायक
लंबोदर के विनायक वामन रूप विनायक लंबोदर के विनायक
वामन रूप
विनायक विनायक
विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
विनायक
विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
नागालंकृत विनायक नागालंकृत विनायक
नागालंकृत विनायक
नाना रूप विनायक
नागालंकृत विनायक
नाना रूप विनायक गुरुसद्रूप विनायक शिष्यवना के विनायक
गुरु सद्रूप विनायक शिष्यवना के विनायक
विनायक विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
विनायक विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
गंभीराक्षर विनायक
गंभीराक्षर विनायक
गंभीरार्थ विनायक गंभीरार्थ
विनायक
गंभीराक्षर विनायक
गंभीराक्षर विनायक
गंभीरार्थ विनायक
गंभीरार्थ विनायक
ओंकाराख्य विनायक वक्रतुंड विनायक ओंकाराख्य
विनायक
वक्रतुंड विनायक सर्वादे श्री विनायक सर्वादे श्री विनायक सच्चिदानंद विनायक
सच्चिदानंद विनायक
विनायक विनायक विनायक
विनायक विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
विनायक विनायक
विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
विघ्न विनाशक विनायक
A beautiful Sanskritam bhajan composed and rendered by the present-day Avadhuta of Lord Dattatreya, Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. As we prepare for today's contemplation, please join in worshipping Naranarayana Maharishis, Goddess Saraswati, and Sage Vyasa. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet.
Last week on Datta Arpanam, and again on this morning's recap of last week's episode, you heard that Goddess Lakshmi was quite specific about the qualities she wanted in a husband. She wanted a husband who was absolutely faultless, filled with good traits and eternal.
And listeners, pay attention to what qualities she sought. She did not seek a partner based on his good looks or based on the position he held. No, she chose a partner based on his qualities, his character. She, this impeccably beautiful and divine mother, could have had her pick of husbands, but she did not base her choice on superficial qualities. And this is a valuable lesson for us all. Someone can be the best-looking, wealthiest person in the room, but if he or she lacks integrity, if they lack a good heart, if they lack compassion, do not for a second think that their superficial qualities will bring lasting happiness to a marriage or a union. So, like Mother Goddess is teaching us, when choosing a partner, choose wisely.
Mother Lakshmi deliberated for some time and then mentally accepted Lord Sri Hari as her husband. Around his neck she draped the garland of lotuses she had been carrying in her hands. In doing so, she married her lord. With a charming smile and with feelings of shyness, she stood beside him gazing at his chest. In turn, Lord Sri Hari offered his chest as her residence. This is how he became known as Srinivasa, the word Sri meaning goddess and the word Nivasa meaning abode. Mother Goddess's home or abode is within the chest of Lord Sri Hari.
Let us worship such a divine mother now. Please open the Bhajan Mala app once again. This time enter Bhajan ID number 332 and join in worshipping Mother by many of her varied names. Her many names remind us of the teachings of Mata Jayalakshmi when she instructed her son and sadhaka, Pujya Appaji, to see her, the supreme divinity, in all beings.
Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Durgi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Durgi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Durgi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Maskarana Vinode He Devi Shakti Rasimaka Jivishu Sambhasi Shakti Rasimaka Jivishu Sambhasi Maskarana Vinode He Devi Shakti Rasimaka Jivishu Sambhasi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Durgi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Maskari Varyaradit Bhadrapada Sadguru Varyasadit Kalpalata Maskari Varyaradit Bhadrapada Sadguru Varyasadit Kalpalata Maskari Varyaradit Bhadrapada Sadguru Varyasadit Kalpalata Maskari Sadguru Varyasadit Kalpalata Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani Mata Mampatu Durgi Lakshmi Devi Savitri Gauri Vani सच्चिदानन्दं शाम्भक्तं तंसि सद्गुणवर्षिणि दुर्गुणमागंसि सच्चिदानन्दं शाम्भक्तं तंसि सद्गुणवर्षिणि दुर्गुणमागंसि सच्चिदानन्दं शाम्भक्तं तंसि लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु दुर्गी लक्ष्मी सावित्री हरे लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु मस्करनाद विनोदे के देवी शक्तिरसीमक जीवि संभाति मस्करनाद विनोदे हे देवी शक्तिरसीमक जीविषु संभाति मस्करिवर्य राधित भद्रपद सद्गुरुवर्य साधित कल्पलता मस्करिवर्य राधित भद्रपद सद्गुरुवर्य साधित कल्पलता दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु सद्गुरुवर्षिणि दुर्गुणमागंसि सच्चिदानन्द शाम्भवितं तंसि सद्गुणवर्षिणि दुर्गुण सच्चिदानन्दं शाम्भवितं तंसि सद्गुणवर्षिणि दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री लक्ष्मी दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री दुर्गी लक्ष्मी देवी सावित्री गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु गौरी वाणी माता मां पातु
A captivating yet uplifting bhajan. You were just listening to the holder of 2 doctorates for his proficiency in music, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, here on Datta Arpanam. Today, the continuation of the story of the churning of the ocean comes to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited.
You heard that after Mother Lakshmi emerged from the milk ocean, she wed Lord Sri Hari. As the churning continued, a damsel, who is the presiding deity for liquor and other intoxicating drinks, emerged. She had lotus-like eyes. With the permission of Lord Sri Hari, this girl went to the demons.
As the Devatas and demons continued to churn the milk ocean, an extraordinary man appeared from the ocean. His neck resembled a conch, He had long, powerful arms and was of blackish complexion with reddish eyes. He had adorned himself with every ornament and wore beautiful garlands around his neck. He was draped in yellow clothing. With a broad chest and with glittering gem-studded earrings, he was very handsome. The ends of his hair were oiled and curly. In terms of prowess, he looked like a lion. And guess what he held in his hands? He was holding a pot of nectar in his hands.
This majestic-looking male was the partial incarnation of Lord Sri Hari. He was born from the ocean and became known as Dhanvantari. Lord Dhanvantari is the divine seer or drishta who propagated the branch of medicine known as Ayurveda. Let us worship this Lord now, this Lord who appeared carrying that much coveted pot of nectar. Please join Puja Appaji once more in worship. This time enter Bhajan ID number 901 and join in singing the Pallavi and final Charanam of this one-of-a-kind bhajan.
Dhanvantare, Dhanvantare, Dhanyan Kuru, Nashri Gare. 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 Vanamulika Graiveyaka Karunanchita Kambrambaka. Vanamulika Graiveyaka Karunanchita Kambrambaka. Vojonide Tejovade Shri Sachidanandambude. Vojonide Tejovade Shri Sachidanandambude. Shri Sachidanandambude. Dhanvantare, Dhanvantare, Dhanyan Kuru, Nashri Gare. Dhanvantare, Dhanvantare, Dhanyan Kuru, Nashri Gare. Dhanvantare, Dhanvantare, Dhanyan Kuru, Nashri Gare. Dhanvantare, Dhanvantare, Dhanyan Kuru, Nashri Gare.
Lord Dhanvantari, the one worshipped in that bhajan, emerged from the churning of the milk ocean and was entitled to receive a share in the yajna offerings.
The demons saw the pot of nectar that Dhanvantari was holding in his hands. Their greed to grab every object that emerged from the ocean was uncontrollable. The nectar which emerged from the ocean rightfully belonged to both the Devatas and the demons. Both groups had worked equally hard to procure it, so both were equally entitled to it. This is an old rule, but the demons violated this rule. The powerful and mighty demons grabbed and began to run away holding the pot of nectar. The weaker demons, who were overcome with jealousy, tried in many ways to stop them. Infighting among the demons broke out and then intensified.
Seeing all of this, the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, who is ever competent and who has a plan to counteract any impossible situation, took on the form of a young maiden of indescribable beauty and stood amidst them. Every limb of this strikingly beautiful young maiden, Mohini, was astonishing. With her blackish complexion, she resembled a tender black lotus.
Meanwhile, in their enmity and urgency to drink nectar, the demons were snatching and throwing the pot of nectar from one to another. While so doing, their eyes fell on the strikingly beautiful woman who was gracefully walking towards them. Captivated by this divine damsel, all of them eagerly rushed towards her. Surrounding her, they excitedly asked, "O lotus-eyed beautiful lady, who are you? Why are you here? Please help us resolve our differences and give us comfort. We, the sons of Kashyapa Prajapati, have collectively put in a lot of effort to procure this nectar. Therefore, we ask that you divide the nectar equally in such a way that there are no more disputes."
When the demons spoke these words to the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, who had taken on the form of the beautiful woman Mohini, she looked at them and smiled tenderly with a love-filled gaze and said, "You say that you are the sons of Kashyapa Prajapati. However, I am only a prostitute. How is it that you want to abide by my words? Under no circumstance does a learned scholar ever put his faith in a lustful woman."
This lady, this Mohini, with her charming illusory words, stole the hearts of all the demons. Without disclosing the lustful desire that overflowed from their hearts, they just gave a restrained, suppressed laugh. They then entrusted her with the pot of nectar that was in their custody.
Listeners, we see from this part of the story that we should never doubt the capabilities of God or Guru. The demons were running away with the nectar. If the Devatas did not get nectar, then their whole mission would have failed. But Lord Vishnu, Lord Sri Hari, he knew just how to remedy the situation, and so he went about remedying it.
But the story also shows us how lust not only robs us of our good sense, but it also brings about our downfall. Remember what Lord Vishnu said to the Devatas before the churning began. He told them to focus only on procuring nectar, no matter what else emerged from the ocean. He told them that when they consumed the nectar of immortality, then they would be able to defeat the demons and regain all that the demons had taken from them. But now, the foolish demons, lost in lustful desire, are giving up this same nectar. This will mark the beginning of their downfall.
The Lord, who had come there as Mohini, after being handed the pot of nectar by the demons, held that nectar pot in his hand and lovingly addressed the demons and said, "My dear demons, you will have to accept my actions, whether they are good or bad. You cannot oppose my actions. It is only if you agree to this condition that I will distribute the nectar."
The demon chiefs who heard Mohini's words remained unsure about these words, but still they silently accepted her conditions.
Listeners, before you hear the next part of the story, you are urged to pay attention to these details, which show us how we should behave when about to engage in an auspicious or a big task.
The divine Mohini then fasted for an entire day. Early the next morning, she took a bath and then offered due oblations into the sacrificial fire or homa. She offered food to cows and other living creatures. She gave charities to Vedic Brahmin scholars and asked Vedic scholars to chant the auspicious Vedic Swasti mantras. All the Devatas and demons then wore new clothes, and having decked themselves in appropriate ornaments, they got ready to get the nectar. All of them sat on east-facing straw mats. The area was fully decorated with flower garlands and lamps. The fragrance from the incense sticks enveloped the entire area.
The beautiful damsel Mohini now walked into the arena holding the pot of nectar. Her anklets were melodiously tinkling. Her eyes were glowing with joy. This lady, who possessed very wide hips, was elegantly draped in a beautiful sari. Her gait was gentle and delicate. She, who was comparable to Goddess Lakshmi in every aspect, illumined like a divine goddess. Her face was glowing on account of her lovely cheeks, ears, nose, and the golden earrings. As she walked, the sari covering her chest slightly slipped. She cast a charming, captivating gaze upon the devatas and demons. Bewildered, they were gazing solely at her.
Demons are wicked by birth. Showering nectar upon them is akin to feeding milk to snakes. Considering this to be against the dictates of the scriptures, Lord Sri Hari did not give the demons their share of the nectar.
The Supreme Lord asked the devatas and demons to sit in 2 separate rows. Lord Sri Hari, who was in the form of the divine damsel, then walked very close to the demons, alluring them with sweet words and her gentle gait. The whole time she was giving nectar to the devatas who were seated far away. Those who drank the nectar were freed from old age and death.
Listeners, let us join in worshipping the Lord who orchestrated this clever yet auspicious plan. Let us worship Lord Sri Hari through this bhajan. Please open the Bhajanmala app or website, enter bhajan ID number 798 and join in Nama Sankirtanam.
Krishnam Vishnu Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Krishnam Vishnu Krishnam Vishnu Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Govindam, Govindam, Govindam Sri Ramam Govindam, Govindam, Govindam Sri Ramam 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 Raghupati 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 Krishnam Vishnu Sridharam Madhavam 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 Madhusudanam Krishnam Vishnu Sridharam Madhavam Madhavam Govindam Sri Ram Govindam Sri Ram Ramam Ramam Raghupati 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 Ramam Krishnam Vishnum Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Krishnam Vishnum Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Hare Krishnam Vishnum Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Krishnam Vishnum Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam Govindam Govindam Sri Ramam Govindam 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 Sri Ramam Govindam 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 Sri Ramam Govindam 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 Sri Ramam Ramam Raghupate Ramam Ramam Raghupate Ramam Ramam Sridharam Madhavam 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 Madhusudanam Krishnam Govindam Sri Ramam Govindam Sri Ramam Govindam Sri Ramam 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 Ragupate Ramam Ramam Ragupate Ramam Ramam Ragupate Ramam Ramam Ragupate Krishnam Vishnu Sridharam Madhavam Madhusudanam
May that Lord Sri Hari, bless one and all. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. Today, you have been hearing how their infatuation with Mohini led the demons to give up the pot of nectar, which was then being shared amongst the Devatas.
The Devatas only desired nectar, but the demons desired sensual love. To each, Mohini gave what they wanted. Through her charming smile and tender gazes, she soaked the hearts of the demons while feeding nectar to the Devatas. While the demons drank her beauty, the Devatas drank nectar.
Meanwhile, the demon Rahu disguised himself as a Devata, slid into the line where the Devatas were seated, and drank nectar.
The sun god and moon god recognized Rahu and informed Lord Sri Hari.
The Supreme Lord Sri Hari immediately dispatched his discus and removed the head of Rahu while he was drinking nectar. As the nectar had not yet reached his body, that body fell down lifeless. However, as his head had touched the nectar, it became immortal.
Lord Brahma then established Rahu as a planet. Since then, planet Rahu bears feelings of animosity towards the sun and the moon. During solar and lunar eclipses, which fall on full moon and new moon days, he attacks the sun and the moon.
When all the Devatas finished drinking nectar, the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, who is the ruler of the entire universe, without caring for the demons who were watching him keenly, manifested in his original form. The purpose of his incarnating as a divine damsel was now complete. There was no more nectar to be distributed.
The Devatas and the demons had, in the same place, time and situation, using similar equipment and for the same purpose, put in the same degree of effort. However, the results obtained by them were grossly different. The Devatas who had sought shelter in the dust of the Lord's feet easily obtained nectar. However, the demons who detested the Supreme Lord obtained nothing.
Listeners, all the physical, mental, and verbal actions of a human being which are undertaken for the protection of his life, wealth, body, and children, all of these are a sheer waste if they are accompanied by feelings of dualities and differences. However, if the same tools are used to worship the Lord, then all of one's efforts will be rendered fruitful, as there is nothing or no one who is separate from the non-dual Supreme Lord. If the roots of a tree are watered, then the entire tree gets water. Similarly, the actions performed for the Supreme Lord bestow positive results all around.
As all the demons and Devatas were watching, the Supreme Lord mounted his vehicle Garuda and left. The sons of Diti, the demons, were now jealous of the Devatas who had acquired the greatest wealth. They were filled with vengeful thoughts. Holding their weapons in their hands, the demons angrily and forcefully pounced upon the Devatas.
But because they had drunk the nectar of immortality, the Devatas had become really powerful. They who had sought refuge in the feet of Lord Narayana now took up their weapons and came forward for battle.
After a ferocious battle, almost all the demons were destroyed. Lord Brahma, who observed this situation, sent Maharishi Narada as a messenger to the Devatas. Maharishi Narada addressed the Devatas as well as the Gandharvas who were supporting the Devatas. He said, "My dear Devatas, since you sought shelter in the arms of the Supreme Lord, you were blessed with nectar. Mother Goddess Lakshmi has ensured your prosperity. Therefore, please stop fighting."
Teaching us the importance of listening to wise sages, as well as the importance of avoiding unnecessary force or violence, the Devatas accepted Narada Maharishi's advice and stopped fighting. While their supporters and followers were singing their praises, they returned to heaven.
Listeners, the Devatas' home might have been heaven, but what about us? How do we get into heaven? Well, Pooja Appaji put it simply in a meme on the free app SGS Posts. He said, "Pious deeds guarantee attainment of heavens."
And one pious deed which is so easy for anyone, a young child all the way to the elderly. One pious deed which is so easy to engage in is Nama Sankirtanam. So please let us all join in bhajan once more. You can find the words to this next bhajan by entering bhajan ID number 1363 on the Bhajan Mala app or on the website www.bhajanmala.com. So please join now in the worship of Lord Subramanyam.
Muruga, Muruga, Muttu Kumarane, Neluverane. Muruga, Muruga, Muttu Kumarane, Mayyeri Varavenduverane. 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 Muruga, Muruga, Valli Manalane. Muruga, Muruga, Valli Manalane. Muruga, Muruga, Valli Manalane. Muruga, Muruga, Valli Manalane. வேண்டுவோரு குறையெல்லாம் தீர்ப்பவனே. வேண்டுவோர் குறையெல்லாம் தீர்ப்பவனே. வேண்டுவோரு குறையெல்லாம் தீர்ப்பவனே. வேண்டுவோர் குறையெல்லாம் தீர்ப்பவனே. முருகா, முருகா, முத்து குமாரனே, மையேறி வரவேண்டும் வேலனே. 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 முருகா, முருகா, முக்கண்ண மைந்தனே. முருகா, முருகா, முக்கண்ண மைந்தனே. முருகா, முருகா, முக்கண்ண மைந்தனே. முருகா, முருகா, முக்கண்ண மைந்தனே. முனிவர போற்றும் குணசீலனே. முனிவர போற்றும் குணசீலனே. முனிவர போற்றும் குணசீலனே
முனிவர போற்றும் குணசீலனே முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே
மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே
முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே
மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே முருகா முருகா செந்தில் வேலவனே
முருகா முருகா செந்தில் வேலவனே
முருகா முருகா செந்தில் வேலவனே
முருகா முருகா செந்தில் வேலவனே
ஷண்முகனே சச்சிதானந்தனே
சண்முகனே சச்சிதானந்தனே
ஷண்முகனே சச்சிதானந்தனே
சண்முகனே சச்சிதானந்தனே
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 சச்சிதானந்தனே முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே முருகா முருகா முத்துக்குமாரனே
மையேறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே மயில் ஏறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே மயில் ஏறி வர வேண்டும் வேலனே 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 வேலனே.
And on that divine note, we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadguru Deva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Bala Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam: Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. Simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on podcasts and scroll down to Datta Arpanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arpanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
हे हनुमान बहुबलवान भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की खान हनुमान भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की खान हे हनुमान बहुबलवान भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की खान संकट मोचन
मोचन तू कहलाए, संकट मोचन तू कहलाए। राम बिना तुझे कुछ ना भाए, राम बिना तुझे कुछ ना भाए। तेरा द्वार जो भी खटकाए, तेरा द्वार जो भी खटकाए, बिन कुछ पाए घर नहीं जाए, बिन कुछ पाए घर नहीं जाए, बिन कुछ पाए हे हनुमान बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की काम। दुर्बल को बलवान बनाए, दुर्बल को बलवान बनाए, दुर्बल को बलवान बनाए, दुर्बल को बलवान बनाए। हर संकट फल में टल जाए, हर संकट फल में टल जाए। तेरा गान करे जो कोई, तेरा गान करे जो कोई, उसे न कोई विपदा होई, न कोई विपदा होई, उसे न कोई विपदा होई, उसे न कोई विपदा होई। हे हनुमान बहु बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की काम। हर मुश्किल आसानत कर दे, हर मुश्किल आसानत कर दे। भक्त जनों के दुख तू हर ले, भक्त जनों के दुख तू हर ले। मन के अंधियारों के मिटा के, मन के अंधियारों को मिटा के, भवसागर से पार करा दे, भवसागर से पार करा दे, भवसागर से पार करा दे, भवसागर से पार करा दे। हे हनुमान बहु बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की खान। सच्चिदानंद है प्रिय हनुमान, सच्चिदानंद है प्रिय हनुमान। दूर करो मेरा अज्ञान, दूर करो मेरा अज्ञान। थका बहुत जीवन चक्कर से, थका बहुत जीवन चक्कर से, कृपा निधान दो निर्वाण, कृपा निधान दो निर्वाण, कृपा निधान दो निर्वाण। हे हनुमान बहु बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। हे हनुमान भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। हे हनुमान बहु बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। हे हनुमान बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। हे हनुमान बहु बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। हनुमान बलवान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान, भक्ति ज्ञान वैराग्य की कान। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत।